Did you know that Kaiba's 3 Blue Eyes White Dragons have separate identities and names? There's even an alpha of the 3. The Blue Eyes White Dragon has always been very rich in lore, but we mainly know it as the dragon that Kaiba has 3 copies of. But when it comes to identifying who they really are, it gets a little bit more biblical. In the manga and anime, we mainly know the dragon as a deity spirit summoned by the conduit Kasara. But in the modern era, there are 3 separate copies, 4 if you include the one Kaiba ripped up. And it's not as simple as there just being several identical prints of the same monster. Rather, in official canon, Kaiba's 3 Blue Eyes are named Azrael, Jibril, and Ibris, officially being revealed in Yu-Gi-Oh! The Falsebound Kingdom, an early 2000s GameCube RPG set in a mythological virtual world. This was a weird era for the franchise. Things like the god cards are here, but not fully rendered properly, like Ra is a quadrupedal dragon. But in general, it's very rich in lore, officially made by Konami, and with some oversight from Yu-Gi-Oh's creator, Kazuka Takahashi, meaning this is as close to canon as I think you can get under the circumstances. But in order to give you proper explanations on why these dragons are named what they are, we're gonna have to take a deep dive look at old world mythology, starting out with Jibril, the chief archangel in the Islamic religion, or as more Westerners would know him as, the Archangel Gabriel. Gabriel, or Jibril, is considered God's divine messenger, sometimes being quite literal with the announcement of the birth of Jesus, and other times more metaphoric, like the destruction of the Sennacherib army. The second Blue Eyes, Ibris, is actually a mistranslation of Iblis, an evil jinn spirit in the Islamic religion. But since all religions seem to overlap, you may know him as Satan, or Lucifer. And while the devil in standard mythology is evil, once upon a time, Lucifer himself was an archangel and God's favorite, being one of the most powerful until he was cast out of heaven, and would go on to wage war perpetually against God, but for his time was the fairest of all the angels. And last, the alpha and most powerful of the 3, Azrael. Kaiba's primary Blue Eyes yet again comes from the Islamic religion and is the Archangel of Death, which once again has many crossovers throughout the religions. Catholicism talks about death riding on a pale horse, more like pale dragon. Pop culture has done a lot with the Angel of Death over the years, but in mythology, some of its most notable contributions are slaying the firstborn sons and livestock in Egypt, which has some weird connotations, I guess. Sorry, Atem. And though I could end the video here, I thought it would be fun to spin my wheels a little bit and talk about who the 4th Blue Eyes could technically be. Again, this part's just a theory and for fun, but we're going there. The 4th Blue Eyes, at least in this connotation, appears to be based off of Jesus himself. Konami has recently established that Blue Eyes of the Heart, or Heart of the Blue Eyes, is the representation of the 4th Blue Eyes that was destroyed and resurrected to defeat Kaiba, which in and of itself already sounds pretty Christ-like. And of course, what does Jesus represent if not the Sacred Heart? But to stick with the proper theming, Jesus in the Islamic religion is the prophet Isa. And though I am not a huge religious person in and of myself, I do believe lore is important and inspiring. And while Egypt is the main centerfold for Yu-Gi-Oh!, there's a lot of religious connotations sprinkled throughout the card game, some more obvious than others. Anyway, this has been a very interesting deep dive, and I would love to know your guys' thoughts on this and if you already knew these names.